Why? Hi. So, I am so confused right now. That's better. So I've been working on this a lot off stream. Um, because I just don't think it's very good content. I mean, it's rewarding and all that, but I don't know if it's very good content. Like, if people are going to want to watch it. Um, but it needs to be done, so, um, I was looking at some of my I messed myself up because I was looking at some of my old builds and I um they were on like Xbox One. So I was looking at some of my old builds and I do not know how to get out of the dang minecart. Um so I was like I want to look around, but the flying wasn't really good either. I would have had to walk around. So I was going to show you all that, and I don't know if I can, because I got myself stuck in the minecart twice. Once on one file and once on the other file. And I'm just like, I pressed every single button. I do not know how to get out of that minecart. So if anybody still has an Xbox One World, please tell me how to get out of that minecart. Because, yeah, I don't want to be stuck in that minecart. I'd like to be able to, look around, see what was built, and I can't do it. I think I literally pressed every button and still could not figure out how to do it. So, oh, might help. There we go. Okay, so I do have Twitch open, just like last stream. Last stream was golf with your friends, and oh, we're supposed to be doing Pac-Man. Oh well. We'll do Pac-Man a little bit later. Um, we need to do Dreamlight Valley because I keep forgetting to get the blue chest. And the blue chest means I get moonstones, and moonstones means I get goodies. Um, so yeah, I want to do that. So okay, this is what happened. Sean was gonna go out on a date, and off screen, we'll call it, um, he and Ashley had a big fight. A big argument. Um, I don't think there was any punching or kicking or whatever involved. um, so they were probably just arguing, but but it's described as a big fight. Anyway, so Ashley gets so upset that she gets her pink cooler, which is only in that scene. She never had a pink cooler any other time. But she has a pink cooler and she has a whole bunch of 100 proof Irish whiskey bottles in it. Well, really?
Official alert. Active balance update. pending. This is Grace Miller from the Member Benefits Agency. You were personally referred. Your financial benefits package worth several $1,000s remains active for groceries, fuel, and utilities, but the window is closing. This is your final notification. Press 1 to confirm approval and reach a live representative. Hi, good day. How are you?
I'm not old enough for Medicare, and I wish I was. Have a nice day. I only wish I was because then we'd be able to, have a little bit more leeway with certain things. Like, um, we'd have a little bit more money for groceries, and we'd have, um, we we wouldn't necessarily have to pay for doctor visits and stuff like that. I don't know what that benefits package exactly includes unless they tell me, but I'm just not old enough for it yet. Even if I was 15 years older than I am right now, I wouldn't be old enough for it. So, anyway, I only answered it because it actually had a real name. Well, what looked like a real name, but I was pretty sure it was a scam because I don't think anybody's last name is Elementa. Ooh, 37 followers. Thank you. So, 3 days ago, SRINFORST07 followed me, and that same day, FAISAL 91762681 followed me, and then still it says unknown user followed me 10 days ago. I don't, I don't know if that means that that's a kid's account, so they don't want to tell me, for safety reasons, stranger danger reasons, or, what, um, but they seem to have staying power, so that's all that really matters. Um, yeah, and I'm kind of thinking that some people, like most of the people that stream something, they stream the same thing. And I think me streaming 15 different things or whatever it is kind of messing with people. Actually, I feel like I really, really accomplished something yesterday because because that might have been the day before, but still, I feel like I really accomplished something. Um, I got, like I said, I got, well, okay, so chapter 12 or 13 or 11 or something like that was supposed to be, like 52 pages long or more. It might have even been 60 something. But anyway, it was supposed to be that much. And then I was like, well, no, because this one says, and then Thursday. It didn't really say and then, but it said Thursday, this is what happened. And I'm like, okay, that's got to be broken up into something else. And then there's the part where Sam and Ashley have their date. Um, okay, so what happened was that they had their argument, and then Ashley went to go drown her sorrows in whiskey. She called up Sam Crenshaw um, and told him to hurry So that chapter ended up being Hurry. I couldn't think anything else to call it. It made sense though. Um, anyway, so that chapter ended up being Hurry, and um, she told Sam Crenshaw to get his butt over there because she was kind of thinking drowning her sorrows in the ocean was a good thing. Um, but she's smarter than that. She wouldn't actually do it, but she's that upset. So anyway, having Sam Crenshaw there to talk to would be better than drowning herself in the ocean. So he shows up, and she has told him that he has told her, sorry, verbally sometimes I mix them up, and actually, when I'm writing my story, and this is good reason to have a program that will read the story back to you, because if you meant he told her that she'd have to get him drunk to get that extra special kiss. But you put she and him, it doesn't work, You don't get the same effect. So, yeah, not a paid advertisement, but I love the program Speechelo because it reads the story to me. And I'm very happy about that. I'm also happy that since I opened up the okay, so I apparently have Word on my phone. Um and when I go and make changes on the computer, it makes changes on the phone. I'm all excited about that. So anyway, I really am all excited about that because that means that if I wanted to go and read my story while we go down to my parents' house, um, I don't know how we're gonna do that because we never get there until 5 o'clock and the party's at 2. I don't know how we're gonna do this. Um, even if we went over to the grocery store, bought donuts, and um, even if we went over to the grocery store, bought a couple of donuts, and I'm gonna insist on the thicker ones if I can because they stick with you longer. Um, the regular maple bars or chocolate bars, they don't stick with you as long. It's like eating a regular donut. So, um, it's like eating a regular donut. It doesn't even last until lunchtime. But, maybe we'll get those breakfast bowls to go with it. We'll get the donut that morning, but we'll have a breakfast bowl to go with it. The ones that um you either vent or take the plastic off and then you microwave it for 3 minutes or whatever it is, and it's supposed to be food. Um, there was one that I really wanted to try, and but it's got cheese in it, so then um, I don't have that problem anymore. And we kind of already decided a couple of the meals that we're gonna have while we're gone. Um, I decided that one of the meals that we're gonna have is Panda Express, and I don't know if it's gonna be the same. If it's gonna happen the same way. But we went to Panda Express last time, and our Panda Express gives you a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Yeah, the one there gave mega food. I couldn't even, like I couldn't even finish it. Um, but I loved it. I obviously don't sound like Phyllis Diller from that episode of Full House, but that's what I was trying for. So anyway, we will go back to my storytelling. Um, so Sam Crenshaw shows up. They start talking while they're drinking the whiskey, even though they're underage, but they're not going to be driving. Don't worry. Um, well, Sam is going to be driving. I didn't even think of that. Oh my goodness. Maybe. Oh, I already did that chapter. I wasn't thinking that they had been drinking and I mean they took a nap afterwards, but I didn't think of that. Anyway, so anyway, um they're talking, they're drinking, and then all of a sudden the sixth bottle and something clicks inside Sam and he's like, she's a free woman. She's uh Sean's not dating her and she doesn't have another boyfriend. I am the boyfriend. And then uh they kiss and then they fall asleep afterwards. So when they wake up, Sam's like, "We need to talk." And she's like, "This was, that's what got us in this mess in the first place." And anyway, so they end up, um, packing, packing up, getting ready to go, and they go outside, and they're a little ways down the beach from Ashley's secret spot, and it turns out that Sean and Jesse were coming to find them, and they weren't going to be able to come to find them because she knows that there's a cave, and that's where they were the whole time. She knows that there's a cave, and it looks out onto the ocean, and um, it looks out onto the ocean, and and you can see the stars, and it's a romantic place, even though it's a cave. So and it's one of those that you can't go and like say follow the beach and go around and get to, there's too much ocean for that, where the opening for the that part of the opening for the cave is. um It'll make a lot more sense when I can actually show you what I'm talking about. But anyway, so they stop there for a minute, and um, Sean asks Sam point blank, "You didn't with Ashley, did you?" And Sam doesn't exactly answer the question. He says, "If I would have done that, I would have had the lady's permission." And then they continue on up toward the mansion because there it's like this where it's all flat, and then there's a pathway, and I never ever build it correctly in Minecraft, but in Minecraft there's a uh, like a ramp kind of a thing made out of dirt, and is oops and is going up and and then you finally get up here. Well, but it's over there. But anyway, I'll show you. I'll show you in a little bit, hopefully. Um, but anyway, they get into the yard and Sam adjusts his belt because it's a little too tight. And Sean takes that as a um as a indication, you know, uh I don't know how to explain indication. Um, as a thing that Sam did what he thinks he did. What Sean thinks Sam did. And so he goes to punch him in the face, but Sam catches the punch and throws one of his own, and that connects and knocks Sean on his butt to the ground, but he did not break Sean's nose. So then, Sam's trying to go over to his car, and he makes it all the way over there. Anyway, he gets given money by Ashley, and it's not services rendered or anything like that. Um, the adults will understand, and the kids don't need to know. Um, anyway, it's not anything like that. It's just, like a sorry you're not the one. And um, so Jesse also gives him some money that Morgan said that he was supposed to give Sam Crenshaw that money if he found another girl that wasn't Ashley. And he kind of does, because while he's trying to drive out of the... Oh, well, he didn't get that. Okay, so he was trying to drive out of the yard so he didn't accidentally kill Sean by punching him a second time. He wasn't confident that he could pull that trick off a second time. So he's driving out while this other car is driving in, and they crash. They crash into each other. She's got bigger crumple zones than he did. We have no idea what either one of them was driving, except for that it was both a four-door sedan. Usually I have a clear idea of what I want them to be driving, and this time, just four-door sedan. Nothing fancy about it. No little screen to tell you how to back up. Maybe the radio works, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Um, I just know that the brakes work, and Sam Crenshaw's car doesn't do very good gas mileage because they live an hour away from town, and Sam Crenshaw lives like in town. So he has to get gas before he leaves town to go to their house, and he may have to gas up just to get home. In this case, he does because he wasn't paying attention to his gas gauge, and so while they're waiting for the tow truck, they get to know each other better, and and they get gas so he can take her home. She lives on the military base, and she pretty much just moved there. And it just happened that she was trying to drive into where the mansion is, and because she thought that might be the military base, she got she got lost. Her date was being um overly or something. I don't remember what the deal was actually. But anyway, her maybe I didn't develop that at all. Anyway, so her date wasn't her idea of a guy to date again, so uh they arrived in their two separate cars, or maybe he walked there and depending on where they went for the date, say the burger joint, maybe he lived across the street. I don't know. Um, but she was trying to get home and took a wrong turn and ended up at the mansion. And normally, now that I think about it, normally if you're driving an hour out of your way, you don't. Um, if you're driving an hour out of your way, then you usually realize it and turn around and go back the way you came. But that's not how I wrote this. Maybe they were maybe they were like at the shooting range or the pirate store or the Chinese food restaurant on that side of town or something. I don't know. I just didn't develop it enough. I just needed her to end up at the mansion, and she did. So she crashed, and I mean, she crashed in the same Crenshaw, and same Crenshaw crashed into her. But his car is still drivable. Hers is not. So like I said, they went and got gas for his car, um, and he's going to drive her home, but they got to wait for the tow truck driver first. I don't know how I didn't develop that either. It wasn't really important until I was just thinking about it yesterday. Where are they towing it to? Does he have military clearance enough that he could tow the car at least to the green zone so he can get a pass or whatever? I don't know. Maybe he's just towing the car to the local mechanic in town, and cuz that's all I ever call it is town. Oh, and I found out something yesterday. I found out that or a while ago I found out it looks like Batu or Bateau, something like that. I looked up on on the translate for Google. Um, good, she wasn't listening. Um, anyway, I looked it up and it looks pretty much like it's Batu. It's like Bateau. And so I kind of want to name, um, I kind of want to change it from La Rochelle to that word, however you pronounce it. And, because that's ship. It's just ship in French. That's all it is. And, so I just kind of wanted to name it that instead, because La Rochelle's an actual place. And I do like the idea, I do love the name. I love the name. But what if La Rochelle doesn't want to be that place in my stories? Um, And I've said several times I'm using it fictionally. That means it's not necessarily really like it is in my books. Um, Especially with one of the buildings. Um, but yeah, it's not necessarily like really like it is in my stories. So I was thinking that maybe I would change it to that other word, even though I cannot pronounce it necessarily. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be like that, but me and trying to pronounce French do not get along. I cannot do it. It's weird though because I can like look at Spanish, written out. I can look at Spanish and usually I can pronounce it pretty good, but I can't necessarily tell you at all whatsoever what the words are. So, I think it's one of the James Bond movies. Um, yeah, I wanna say it's one of the James Bond movies. They're in, yeah, the one where he goes to Havana, I think. Anyway, they're in a factory and it kind of looked like one of those sweatshop places, but maybe not. Um, anyway, the guy's reading the newspaper to everybody. And, I keep thinking, I could probably be that newspaper person, but have no idea what I'm talking about. Like, I might be, I might be saying that, somebody, well, if I see, okay, I can't roll my R's, but if I see perro, then I would probably know that somebody's talking about a dog. Or if it's perro, um, with one R, it's I want to say butt, not your tushy, but when you're saying but mom, that kind of butt. But I don't remember all of my Spanish training, and I really thought that one of these days it was going to be just so easy that I'd be able to just I would be able to spout it out like I do English, and no, it never came that way. It actually got too hard for me to try to do. So, like, like those programs that say, learn a language in 6 weeks or whatever. I would probably need one of those. And and probably the one that is actually meant for kids with the cute little animals and that. I don't know if I would go for that one, but I probably would because I probably would because I think it would be easier for me. Anyway, so there's that, and then the next chapter, they're all in the locker room and they're being guys. Sometimes, um, some some. I don't mean that mean. Uh, just sometimes guys like to talk about how many women they've kissed, and so everybody's giving everybody's telling what happened, but not telling who the girl was. But, like the description they give, the guys all, pretty much think they know who the guy was with. And it gets to Sean's turn, and he's, oh, I can't tell you part of that because that goes with the island. So, anyway, he explains about the island, and but he pretends that it was, um, a kiss that he was happy to have with all those women, not they made him kiss them. So, so then, then he goes, but there's this other girl, and I've kissed her a few times, and he says he wants to do it again, but he's afraid of her father, and that she's the, her dad's the captain of the ship. So that should have been, you know, that should have been woo woo woo. We all know who it is, but they don't necessarily know. But haven't gotten much further than that. Um, that page ends with Sean saying that he's worried. I had afraid, but that makes him sound. Uh, I don't think a guy would say, I'm afraid that I'm not good enough. They'd probably say, I'm worried that I'm not good enough because they don't want to appear weak in front of their friends. I don't see Bruce Willis, let's say, uh, going around saying that he's uh, afraid that he's not good enough. I mean, in his heyday, because obviously he's going through some things right now, and I really hope God goes and goes over there and lays a hand on him, and in a nice way, of course, but like lays a hand on his head and makes him all better. Maybe he wouldn't be acting anymore, but at least he'd have a life. Although, although, if that one video can be believed, he Arnold Schwarzenegger went over um about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Anyway, went over to Bruce Willis's house, and they were talking, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was saying, "Yeah, and you were in this movie, and you were in that movie," and then for a little bit there, Bruce Willis became his self again, and he became himself again just for a little while, and then uh, then Arnold had to go, of course, but it did give me hope that maybe God will go and put a gentle hand on his head and make him all better. or give the knowledge to the medicine people. You take this pill 10 days or whatever, and your uh and your brain's restored. Something like that. I mean, I don't know if Bruce Willis is on God's side, or if he's you know just live and let live, and like that, but you know I don't like seeing people that I've known about for years. Well, anybody really, but I've been watching Bruce Willis movies like seemingly all my life, at least since the late 80s. and with the first Die Hard movie, and I don't like hearing that he's not all there anymore. So, I'm hoping that they can figure out something and that it doesn't just work on him and isn't $1 million when they find out it doesn't just work on him. Because it's like, I realize that people put in tons of hours to come up with medicines that actually work. But, usually the man, I guess, goes and, stops that medicine that actually works from going out on the market, and then somebody else, or maybe that same person, invents something that invents medicine that just puts a band-aid on it, basically, and that one goes on the market no matter what, because you gotta keep taking it even though it doesn't work very well. you know I don't know. Oh, Costco was gonna have some stuff that I wanted to buy, and my husband was like, well, does that start now or does it start later? And it ended up that it starts later. Um, Hopefully, I can find that coupon and figure out exactly what I wanted. Um, Problem is that one of the things that I want for the house is a vacuum cleaner. We don't have one. So there's pretty much literally fur all over the house. We got 3 cats. Two of them are, well, one of them's a very long hair. Well, I guess not very, but it's longer than the other two. And then that's Sam, and Ben's got kind of long hair too, but not as long as Sam. And then Bobby's a short hair. We don't have to worry about her pretty much. I mean, she needs to be brushed. And when my husband gets home, I'm gonna see if he can help me brush her. Because the last time I tried to brush her, she tried to bite me. And I was using her brush. I wasn't using the scary brush. I don't like the brush I have for the other two. It looks scary. Basically, it looks like it has claws. Metal claws. And I just don't like the idea. Okay, so anyway, so what's gonna end up happening is that Sam starts bragging like he said he wasn't gonna do. He told Ashley that he wasn't gonna say that they kissed. And um it's like I'm trying not to say too much, so I'm using kissed for they, lips and lips, and then kissed for, yeah. But I'm trying not to say too much. So I mean, I'm not one of those girls who would be like embarrassed to talk about that. I'm fine, but not like, mm, I'm okay to talk about that, but I won't say that on a Minecraft stream And if I did start giving details, I would make it in adults only. But I already got in trouble for recording something on GTA that I shouldn't have, so I'm not going to give details. But anyway, Sam said that he wasn't going to tell tales about her afterwards, and then he starts doing it anyway. But it's because, um, it's because of the fact that, I mean, he doesn't give details either, but everybody knows that, like the guys start thinking, okay, who have we seen Sam Crenshaw with? We've seen him with Ashley, and that's the only girl that they can think of that Sean may have kissed also. So they're fairly certain that it's Ashley, and I think Sam says yeah. And then Sean and Sam are going to get into a big old fight, and they're going to threaten to break them up. Um, they're going to threaten to put them in separate PEs. Physical education, if you don't know what PE is. Okay, so if my husband was in Gardnerville today, I would assume that they would call from a number with a name. It would say Smith's Grocery Store or something like that. Anyway, but I don't know what happens after that. Because I haven't read that far. But it's kind of funny because they say they broke Sean I mean Sam and Ashley both say that they broke up with each other. Well, actually, she says that he just broke up with me, but she wasn't upset for once. But he goes, no, we broke. Well, he doesn't say no. He says we broke up with each other, and you know that like kind of makes her feel better. Um, Actually, I didn't address the feelings at that point at all. But anyway, um, I just don't know what happened next because in future chapters they're gonna go out on dates, and he's gonna try to help her cement it in even further that Sean and Ashley ought to be dating, not Sam and Ashley, not Troy and Ashley. Um, I think that's what the okay. The guy when Ashley's doing her first solo driving, I mean she's got Chantel in the car, but other than that, um, she's doing she's driving for the first time um without at least Chantel and Allison. And I just thought of something. I didn't have her pick up anybody after school. Because sometimes, or a lot of the times, Sean has to go and pick up somebody after school. I was trying to come up with a story idea yesterday, or day before yesterday, I think, and now I can't remember it at all whatsoever. I'm kind of upset about that. I'm at the point where I want to find out what happens in Finding Love, and literally all I have to do, um, but the problem is that it doesn't speak enough English to actually get the full feel of the story. All I'd have to do is um, get to a stopping point with Test and Love, and then I could go and listen to Finding Love, because um, um, I've got 365, so I don't know if you would call it Word 365 or if you would just call it 365, but what the heck? The screen um, lights up when you get alerts on your phone and drains the battery. Anyway, whatever you call it, I've got 365 on my computer, and then I've got, it just said Word on my phone. Yeah, on my phone. So, but it updates when I change something on the computer. It updates next time you open up the file on the phone. So I love it. And I'm supposed to be able to play it on my phone. So if we're out, I can go and listen to it if I want. But my husband's usually playing music, so that's not going to work. The phone doesn't have a headphone jack. And if you don't know what a headphone jack is, oh my goodness. But I could Bluetooth it. Hmm. Maybe I will, like maybe I'll have my tablet and my phone and listen to, have my husband buy me another set of um, headphones because I don't want to have to recalibrate them to my computer when I get back. And he's going to be like, why can't you do that? Because I have to have headphones, the ones that go over your ears, have the little headband piece. I have to have that. So, I always end up bored stupid going, because it's a 3 hour drive. I always end up bored stupid and, or I'll end up trying to read my book, but it's such little letters. I really think I need, two 275s instead of 250s for glasses. But I won't really find out until. Okay, today's Thursday. 7 is. No, today's Friday. Today's Friday. 7 is Saturday. 8 is Monday. I mean, Sunday. 9 is Monday, so Tuesday. And the problem is that he's going to have to give me um, money so I can do my appointment. And then I've been told that uh, they have that system like on the movie Deck the Halls with Dan DeVito and Matthew Broderick. He was he goes in and pulls this adjuster thing down and better one, better two, better one, better two. He's trying to help the lady. She's like, I don't want glasses. I'm gonna look old. And then then he goes and puts a pair of glasses on her, and she goes, I look hot. So, anyway, I probably want to get if I can, blue or purple lenses. Not lenses, the part that holds the lenses. Frames. On my on Dreamlight Valley, I've got a character. I've my character is always wearing blue glasses, light blue, and so I'm probably gonna want something like that. I'm kind of hoping that they say that I only need reading glasses for now, and it'll be all good, but knowing that most of my family, no matter what side of the family it was, had glasses, I'm thinking I'm doomed. Although I did eat a lot of carrots when I was a kid. Carrots are supposed to be good for your eyes. If you don't know. I used to get carrots at Costco, and then it was like I was eating them every day, and I got tired of them. So I might have him buy me some again because it's something to snack on. Yeah, I was a weird kid that I liked candy, but but I wanted carrots. I wanted fruit. Um, later when I got introduced to that, because I don't think I'd ever had that before, cauliflower, broccoli, all that fun stuff. Although for a while there, I didn't like broccoli because you weren't supposed to eat it when you had braces. Or maybe it wasn't you weren't supposed to, but stuff got stuck in your teeth, and stuff got stuck in your braces, and I did not know that it was getting stuck. So it was like really embarrassing when I found out. Um, yeah, so I was kind of thinking, I'm a little bit of a workaholic. Actually, I'm a lot of bit of a workaholic. And I'm going to try to get as much of this book done before, quote, vacation time as possible. But, it would be good if I could go and take my headphones with me and it would be good if I could go and take my headphones with me and be able to listen to my story and write down this needs to be done this way and this needs to be done that way. Because, like, I wrote down whatever it was real fast. What I'm fixing is the rough draft mode. Um, I, like, I'll go and write down something, uh, like, I'll write down the idea, and then, like, later I'll be like, that does not sound right. Like, Sean being afraid. He wouldn't admit that to his friends. You know, most guys want to, look like Superman in front of their friends. Nothing's going to stop them. Nothing's going to scare them. Although, in one of the first movies, um, Superman was afraid because something happened. Lois Lane had just gotten done with a news report, I think, and it turns out that on the way back, she was in a dirt avalanche, because I don't know what to call it. Like she was in Rock Slide area, and she got covered, and by the time Superman found out about it, she was already gone. She was unalived. So then he goes and literally flies around the earth to back up time to before the to before the thing, and whatever he was doing instead, um whatever he was doing instead must have gotten reversed too then. But ooh, think about it. If he had been in the car with her and he rescued them, he would have had some tough explaining to do. I mean, in one of the movies, she did find out. And she's like, she's like kind of thinking it's best of both worlds. Like on Grease 2, she, Stephanie was, telling Michael that she couldn't date him because there's a pink lady code. And, one of the pink ladies, Paulette, she's got a little sister, Dolores, and they got some really bad names in that household, because I just don't like the name Dolores, and I definitely don't like the name Paulette. That sounds like you thought it was a boy, and then you named your son Paul, and then all of a sudden it's a girl, and so you're like, well, what do I do? And then you're like, Paulette. Yeah, that works. Yeah, but it really doesn't. I don't know. I try to give my female characters girl names. Natalie, Ashley. Since we're going with the E's, Jenny, April, Pepper. Um, uh, I know there's more names. Holly. Jane. So So in Finding Love, you find out that Jake's mom is Jane and his dad was Timothy, and that Jake is technically Jacob Timothy, but he does not like being called Jacob. He likes being called Jake. So I don't remember, I don't remember that much stuff about that story except for that um his uh okay, so his dad dies of cancer, and when he's 11, and then when he's older, Wesley and Wesley was Timothy's best friend. When they're in Australia, Wesley was his best friend. So Wesley was kind of put in charge to keep an eye on Jane. Well, after Timothy died and the grieving period was over, they Wesley and Jane kind of started dating each other, but they did not get married because the problem is that Wesley's wife, she was going to have a baby, and it was unalived when it was born. So she died of a broken heart, and at one point, at the beginning of the story, Wesley's still upset about that. It's pretty much fresh in his mind. And his son Hunter tells him no head fires. So no putting your head in the oven and turning on the oven and putting your head in it. That's something people used to do. I don't know if they still do it, and I hope they don't. But that's something people used to do, and it would unalive them, and then, like you walk into the kitchen and you find that, and you call 911, and I didn't do it, but okay, I am hoping I didn't see that right because it looked like it said Wardrobe, Nevada. Probably said something else, or maybe it did say Wardrobe, I don't know. Just seems like a silly name for a city or town. There's supposed to be some haunted places in Virginia City, which is about a half an hour drive from here, I think. May not even be that long. But anyway, there's supposed to be like some haunted places up there, and it's like I almost want to go, but I would definitely be taking my Bible with me. Like I kind of like watching those I kind of like watching those ghost hunter shows. Videos on YouTube. But like I'm always wondering, is this real or is this fake? Because you never know if they've got like a laptop or tape recorder or something like that off camera, and that's what's really making the sounds. Somebody has uh has recorded their voice. You never know. But like they were in a prison one time, and the ghost was saying things, and they're like, whoa. Okay, so see, I can't even tell you about that part of the storyline because you have to read the island before I can tell you about that part. It's a really cute part too. But I'd have to be able to tell you about the island, and I'm trying to get everybody to read the island, find out what's so special about this island. It's just an island, isn't it? Well, yeah, but there's more to it than that. Um, oh, there's another thing. At one point, uh, I was like, okay, I need to get these people married off. I need to get them to be married before this one scene. I mean, before this one book, when Ashley's husband takes over as captain because Ashley does not want to be captain. Um, but it's traditional. Okay, it's traditional for the mom to pass it down to the daughter. And in this case, Ashley didn't want it, so she gave it to her husband. And her husband, can he be trusted? We don't know. Because he did have a point where he was kidnapped by enemy pirates and he started acting like them. And so he wasn't very nice to Ashley. But, he's better now. He gets, um, evil him when he's tired. But, not as bad as when he was evil. So, like maybe he'd yell at Ashley, "Go to bed," you know. But it was a long time working to get, not so evil husband. So anyway, we don't know if he can be trusted or not, but I had to get a whole bunch of the characters married to their uh whoa. I bet you we're gonna have to go down that far. I actually want to go down to Bedrock. I just haven't done it yet. Um. Anyway, so like the first part of the story, it might have been the one where Pepper and Raphael get married, but the first part of the story, um, Paige is complaining to her dad, the doctor. Um, her dad's the ship's doctor. That Oliver won't take her to the lake like all the other girls. There's more to it than just going to the lake. There's kisses involved. But yeah, Oliver won't take her there. So, okay. Um, or maybe it was just she wanted to go to the lake and he won't take her, thinking that there's more to it than that. Um, can't remember. But anyway, so So she's like, I want to get married and I want to get married now. Well, Oliver should probably have a choice, and he's okay with this when when he gets informed that that's what's happening today. He's perfectly fine. He's got a ring. He just needs to get dressed, and then the um then he gets a little worried that he's gonna stumble over his words, or that it's forever commitment. you know Anyway, so he gets a little nervous, and they talk him through it, and he's just fine. Well, then later in the book, oh, and he just they're gonna go to Lake Tahoe to his aunts or grandparents or something like that house that he got gifted in South Lake Tahoe. So there's that, and then later in the book, it turns out that Noah and Holly are gonna have a baby, but they're not married yet. So his dad, being the preacher, is decidedly upset about this. And her dad is angry, livid, even, super angry. So he goes and drags him outside, down the pathway, and to the ship, and downstairs, and locks him in the cage in the engine room. Probably handcuffed. I can't remember if he was handcuffed, but I think he probably was. Um, anyway, so Holly's upset about this. She goes to her room. She gets her sword. But I think she punched her dad in the face and knocked him out first. And then, no, she got her sword after the wedding. Um, because she wants her "we just got married" kiss, and there's no way. And Travis, her dad, has said that he's not going up and she's not coming down. So they get into a sword fight, and then all of a sudden Travis realizes what he's doing and why he's doing it, and stops and goes and sits by the ladder to the secret passageway across the room. And Holly gets her kiss, and then when they go on their honeymoon, I didn't know that you could say that they were going to Disneyland, as long as you don't give too many details or say Disneyland sucks or something like that. You can use Disneyland because it's a landmark a lot of people know, or a theme park that a lot of people know. You can say where they went. So I'm gonna probably put that they went to Disneyland instead of whatever I put. I usually try to make things vague. So, instead of cherry Coke or cherry Pepsi or wild cherry Pepsi, I will go and put cherry cola. And then if it's cherry flavored soda, I'll go and put cherry soda. And it's kind of funny because one of the Okay, so I don't remember if it's Test in Love or if it's Caught, but one of those two is where Ashley's husband proposes to her in the Chinese food restaurant. And the thing is that she's on a date with Azariah. That's a name I got out of the Bible. I really liked it. So she's on a date with Azariah, but thing is that they went to the airsoft field. Um, it's I don't remember what you call it. Um, you know, when you go to the bowling alley and you go to that one room and it's got bowling balls you can buy and it's got all that equipment. Well, it's got that, but it's in the middle, and but one part of it is a snack bar. Anyway, they had gone to the airsoft on one side, paintball on the other, and um oh, and airsoft, in case you don't know, is plastic BBs you shoot at each other. So most people know that BBs are actually metal, but this is plastic ones, so it doesn't hurt so much. Um, anyway, so they're playing paintball, and Ashley's husband, has not talked to her in like 3 hours, and she thought it was a date, and he just needed to have a day to talk with the guys on how to propose, ask her to marry him. And so he feels really bad about that, but um he feels really bad about that. So he and it's Jonah and Jesse and somebody. Oh, Zach, I think. They all end up um following in Sean's truck, um following Ashley, who is going to the Chinese food restaurant with Azariah. Well, somewhere in there, her husband decides to propose, and I mean, no, before that, she ordered a lemon lime soda and a root beer, I think, and her husband leans over and goes, "The other one's for dot dot dot," and she's like, "Yeah," because it turns out she is having a baby too, but you don't really know about that until later. So when you're reading it, just pretend you don't know, or do yourself the favor of totally forgetting about it before you read it, and then you don't have to worry about it. But like I said, you know there's programs out there that'll read the book to you, and like if you've got the ebook version of my book, you can like say be exercising on your treadmill or whatever, and you can listen to my story. Although most people, if they're not on the treadmill, they are probably going to want to listen to music because it motivates you to keep going. But if you're on the treadmill, you're kind of trying to wind down. Or at least that's how I was doing it. The thing was that I couldn't do very many things because I've got ailments that you can't see, and the guy running ex the exercise room did not understand that. At the time, I did not have bad knees, but I do now. And then I've got bad wrists. I've got a little bit of a bad back. Not so bad when I can sit in my chair, but um, not so bad when I can sit in this chair that I'm in right now. But um, I love my chair. If it feels like my back is gonna get sore, if I leave it in that position, I can go and recline it, um, or make it sit up straighter or something like that, and then it's better. I feel really bad because I actually had Twitch open and everything, and I forgot to look over, and now I don't know if that person's going to come back. So, one of the times I looked, it said I needed a certain number of unique um, people to watch my Twitch stream, and I think I've got that down. But on YouTube, it still said that I need valid public watch hours or people to get really interested in my short videos. So, um, but yeah, so they're eating Chinese food and they order a whole bunch of food. Everything that I could think of. Lemon chicken, sweet and sour chicken, sweet and sour pork, chow mein, um, and I don't mean the crunchy chow mein like you get in the store. I mean, like actual limp noodle, uh, like spaghetti like substance is supposed to be. I like it better that way. I do not like it crunchy. My in-laws always make this when noodles crunchy, and I'm like, that's not the way it's supposed to be. And my husband's like, yeah, it is. Because that's the way he always had it when he was a kid. That's not how chow mein is supposed to be. If you go to a Chinese food restaurant, the chow mein is not like that. Anyway, um, so then the problem is that after he proposes, um, they have to go and keep it from her father, and that is a bit of a challenge. Although they succeed until the inevitable day when they do get caught. Ashley was, um, or Ashley had a bit of morning sickness, and when you have morning sickness, you end up having to rush to the bathroom, and and so she just played it up like she was sick because they had a test in history and she didn't want to do it. So he went into he went to go visit her even though she's sick, and like her plan was that um her plan is that maybe her dad will think that he's a good person because he went in even though she's sick, and sick is in quote marks. And he goes, no, he'll probably just think I'm stupid. But anyway, then there's a really cute part um, when somebody's getting married. Can't remember. I can't remember who. That's the problem. But I can't really tell you about that cute part because it goes with the island. Well, I probably shouldn't have told you about um, the part that I'm working on, but um, because part of that goes with the island. Well, okay, so I said that he had okay, so five girls. Um, I mean, he kissed five girls, and it was not mutual. They wanted that kiss more than he did. He didn't force himself upon them or anything like that. Don't worry about that. So anyway, one of those girls that he was with, well, I think all of the girls that he was with, got pregnant and had a child. I mean, had a baby. But the one was a very important one, and she decided to send her baby to Sean because he's the dad, to keep him away from grandma because grandma is psycho loony. Like, Sean's son is like 3 months old, and she's saying he was talking to me in my sleep. So she's crazy. So later, when Sean's talking to people around town, he just says grandma's on drugs. So at one point, they're in front of the baby store, and um, and Jeremy, the uh, head guy at the police station, he asks, "Are you babysitting or kidnapping?" And he explains, "This one's mine." It has to do with over the summer, and I'm not telling you about it. So, so they go into the baby store, and the baby's name is Jonah, and he likes blood red stuff. So so Sean's asking him, do you want this outfit? And it was totally black, and Jonah's like crying or fussing or something like that. So Sean knows, no, not that one. So then he picks the blood red one, and Jonah's very, very happy again. And so they put that on him because he arrived wearing just a diaper and maybe a blanket. He was literally left in a basket on their doorstep, and they got, they got home and the basket wasn't there. Sam Crenshaw and his wife Tiffany were, were hanging out at the house, because they had to go and make sure that the horses and dogs and cats and everybody got fed. Hamsters, if they didn't take them over the summer, fish and all that. Um, um, anyway, they needed to feed the animals, so they just slept over because I think the kids were at, their kids were at grandma's house or something like that. Or maybe they didn't have kids yet. Can't remember. But anyway, they were having a weekend at their house. I mean, a weekend by themselves. Hey, Bobby. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we still need to play Pac-Man. We still need to do um Dreamlight Valley, and I'm getting a little frustrated on this because it's just not getting done fast enough. But if I have Squibs and Friend help me, then the problem becomes that they get too good at their job, and I get frustrated because it's not getting done right because I couldn't explain it properly, or they didn't listen, or something like that. So, I mean, hopefully they would listen, but, yeah. I'm just getting a little frustrated because it's not taking, it's taking too long. Okay. So, I write books. I've been talking about the books the whole time. I write books. They're available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. They are Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, Hard Times, Esperanza's Party, The Island, Lessons in Love, and Adopted Coral. I keep forgetting to say and Adopted Coral. Um, totally forgot to say that last time. Anyway, an Adopted Coral, and Adopted Coral is a children's book. Most of the words, I think, should be able to be read by children. I did read some of the book yesterday out loud on one of my streams, and I found out that there was the word people. So I don't know if kids can read people. But a lot of the words should be easy for children to read. And I tried my hardest to make it easy to read. As soon as I am done, hopefully as soon as I'm done with Test and Love, I will write Ben's book. I had to go and get a specific picture. And I was upset because they changed it. I really was. I was upset because they changed it. Because the staircase was in the middle. The staircase was in the middle, and it's no longer there. It's down the way and around the corner. So I had to take a picture of that particular window set and just left it at that, you know. So, it's a picture from the ground floor. I was not going up. I didn't go up the first time either, so it works out. Hi. Come here. Here you go. Trying to teach her to be a lap cat. You know, a cat that sits in your lap voluntarily and is happy and maybe purrs. Anyway, so hopefully I'll do Ben's book, and then I don't think I have all the pictures that I really want for Sam's book, but we'll figure out something. And then I just need to take more pictures of Bobby so we can get and consult her mommy, my sister, to to like get pictures of her when she was little. So, if you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow and chat. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and please get those valid public watch hours up. And I will see you in the next stream or video.